It is Monday afternoon, and I was trying to do this video before my 13-year-old got home from school because last night we were watching the news, and she, like the nightly news, and she was sort of half listening and was asking me lots of questions, and it made me think we need to talk about this. So this is, I think most of you by now have seen a picture of a young girl beside a horse on the news, and her name is Adriana Cush, and she was attacked at school. It was on video, and then she died by suicide less than 48 hours later. So last night, I have a 13-year-old. I have 3 teenagers and a little person with autism, but I have a 13-year-old daughter, and she's recently gotten Instagram. And this was a lot of what we talked about, like social media and what it can do and what it's for and limits with it and all sorts of stuff. And honestly, I probably shouldn't have let her have it, but I got tired of her asking me. And so she has an hour a day. I get all her notifications. I think it's fine, but it's probably better not to have it, but she has it. So anyway, on February 1st, a young girl, Adriana, was in New Jersey at Central Regional High School. She was born in Toledo, Ohio, but they had been in New Jersey maybe for 7 years. Her dad was an airborne soldier, so they had always moved a lot. So anyway, she was a freshman at the Central Regional High School in Bayville, New Jersey. And she was walking down the hall with her boyfriend. And the video, which was posted on Snapchat, TikTok, and Instagram, she was 14. They are laughing and talking and saying, this is going to be funny. I can't wait to do this. And they attack. They hit her in the face with a water bottle, like a full 20-ounce water bottle, is how her dad said it, 3 times. Punched, kicked her, pulled her hair. She kind of went down and was in like the fetal position, and they were laughing. And about 40 seconds later, an adult got in the middle of it and stopped it. Which to me is pretty quickly. But what's interesting is if you watch this video, as the person, no, Blair did not, my daughter did not see that video. She was listening to the discussion about the video. And the adult who had stopped the fight, the other children involved, and there were 4 that have been suspended and now have been charged, that were still laughing and videoing. So that part really got me. I don't know why. It was just this idea of being a teenager and getting in trouble with an adult. You had just like attacked and punched a child in broad daylight. Like, this is not in an alley in the night, nothing. This is at school on video. And what do you think is going to happen to you? Clearly, you don't think anything is going to happen to you. As an adult is standing there, you continue to video and laugh? I know I am not a perfect parent, but I promise you, if it were my child that did that, they would be sitting beside me on the couch today telling you how terrible they are. And I'm really not kidding you about that, a mob mentality. Yes, there is a mob mentality, but there is also this. Clearly, their parents aren't getting notifications for their social media. But there was something weird going on at the school. Now, listen to this. They take her to the school nurse, Adriana, because she's bleeding. And the school doesn't file a police report. So she calls her dad and says, I have been jumped, basically. And the school is kind of saying, well, this was a fight. No. This is not a fight. A fight is like when 2 people come at each other and like something on Footloose. That's a fight. This is not a fight. The school does nothing. They say that they suspend the children right away, but the dad is saying 2 of them were back at school the next day. So I don't know what to believe on that one. I do know that the dad took the daughter to the police station, and the superintendent, his name is, hi.
What are you doing?
I'm just doing a video, so give me about 10 minutes.
Stop talking trash about my school.
I'm not talking about your school on a video. I'm talking about a school in New Jersey.
Good.
So you're safe. Going upstairs, don't give me 10 minutes, please.
I am.
Okay, good.
Where's Amos?
He's out with Mary. Go on. Do not say one word. Not one word. You are not allowed to be on my video. Out. Goodbye. Stop talking trash about my school. Like I sit around and do that, because that would really be smart. The superintendent, Triantafyllos Parplanides, he says it's school policy to let parents contact the police. And before you were like ready to hurt him, he's no longer the superintendent as of Saturday. And now we'll know why. So he says, this is a direct quote. We normally just suspend. If a parent wants to press charges, they can with the police. But we're not going to double whammy a kid where they are suspended and then police charged as well. I'm sorry, but are people dumb? We're not going to double whammy a kid where they're suspended and then they get police charges? I know, because that would be so terrible. So what about if somebody takes a gun to school? Do we not call the police then either? So that didn't help him very much, I would just like to say. But the dad has been very open and honest and vocal on Facebook, which good for him. So these 4 students whose names have not been given were charged with aggravated assault, 1 with harassment, and 2 others with conspiracy to commit aggravated assault. The superintendent says on Friday, this past Friday, teachers and safety officers intervened in the fight. It was a tragedy, and our thoughts and prayers went out to the family. Now, last Wednesday, on February 8th, the students had a walkout from school. They were like, I am tired of this. There is bullying here. There's this. So the superintendent, the one who's no longer superintendent, he writes a letter to the parents and says that the protest interfered with the learning process and that future rallies would need prior approval from administration. And then he says, let's just go ahead and finish up talking about him for a minute. And then he says, when the parent says, this is a problem, I'm mad at the school, he said, he went on social media. So now you have a superintendent who goes on social media and says, there are 2 sides to every story. Now, I haven't even told you the fact that less than 48 hours, she takes her own life. So she sends a text message and her father and stepmother find her. She's taken her own life in the closet. She has lost her own mother to suicide when she was little, which the superintendent goes on to tell a news organization as he's defending himself. So just listen to this. This is a quote. I would also just like to remind anyone that there's this thing called FERPA, and it's like Freedom of Educational something. You can't talk about a student in their personal life like on the news. Kate Swenson was talking about cyberbullying on her page today as well. Well, I'm not surprised. She and I talked about this on the phone a little bit, Finding Cooper's Voice. I'm going to go back and see what she said. So here's what the superintendent says. After her mother's suicide, since her father was having an affair at the end of 6th grade, her father married the woman he had an affair with and moved her into the house. Her grades and choices declined in 7th and 8th grade. That's what the superintendent told the news media. One thing interesting about Adriana, I got some water, is that she saved a next door neighbor from drowning. And that mother spoke and said that she was like part of their family. I know, right? That's insane. So she was attacked. Oh, my office. She was attacked on February 1st. She She was attacked on February 1st. On February 2nd, she stayed home from school, obviously. And the next day, she took her own life that evening. But what do we do about it? Like, really, what do we do about it? Do you... her father said this, and I think this is interesting. He said, the video of the attack is what led to her embarrassment that ultimately cost her life. And I think he's right on this one. So she's attacked, which is humiliating enough. And who knows, you know, what. She's attacked. They put it on video. They're videoing. And then the school says, what was it that he said? We're not calling the police because, here's what the superintendent said, quote, we normally just suspend. If a parent wants to press charges, they can with the police. But we're not going to double whammy a kid where they're suspended and then police charges as well. So she was so embarrassed they jumped her, said her father. And here's what he said. If they had called the police, he believes the sharing of the video led to this, what cost her life. If they had acted differently, the video might have been taken down sooner. So here's what I think. I think that this was not a live video. I think this is a recorded video. Kids are not allowed to videotape during school. I wouldn't imagine, Ellen. They do the recording. They're in trouble. Now, at this point, they don't call the police, nothing like that. They don't call the police. So these kids think they're fun and cute, and the video gets shared. As her dad said, if they had called the police and the police would have come out, do you think they would have been posting those videos online? Do you think the police might have said, what did you do with that video? Did you post it and the video would have been down? Instead, the video is all over TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram. And nobody calls the police. There was a comment in here I wanted to see. Jessica, my son was attacked at school by 2 boys and it was shared 2,000 times. I know how devastating it can be. Jessica, I just don't know. I don't know as a parent, you know, I belong to like this little person with special needs and I think he is amazing. He's this one. These are my Christmas cards I haven't sent out. And I just don't know how you get past that as a human. How do you get past that? And what if it's your child that's doing it? I mean, as terrible as it is, as your child being the victim, what if it's your child that did it? Children with phones at school. You know, but I think you could argue and say normal people can have a phone and not do that. I would, again, encourage people to be very aware of what your children are putting on social media. My guess is that these parents wouldn't have thought that their children would do this. And unfortunately, parents of children that do terrible things like this aren't typically the types that want to come on and talk about it, which maybe is more telling, you know. My son was assaulted by a bully when he was in 6th grade. That's what said he was being bullied by the same person at school. His father not press charges against the child. I have 3 teenagers. You know, how do I talk to them? How do you, my oldest daughter was cyberbullied. We almost lost her. Get suspended if you shared a video of a fight. Being bullied in school in the 70s and 80s was bad enough. Right. I think you're seeing a school system, and I would encourage parents to go and talk to their school system and say, hey, what's happening? What is our policy? There are no laws in schools against cyberbullying. I mean, I know that this is definitely now on my radar of like reaching out to our high school principal, reaching out to our middle school principal. And I will say, last year, we have a new principal this year, but our past principal and I did talk about this at length, not related to suicide, but we talked about how it's a regular old middle school principal in Eastern North Carolina, and every Monday is spent, that's what she said last year, on trying to undo all the problems on social media from the weekend. Every Monday, that's what happened. Every Monday. You can reach out all you want to, but nothing gets done. You know, I don't think so, Annette. I think things do get done. I know for a fact that our school policy, if a child was attacked like that, the police would have been called, period. So you can know things like that. You know, those are school policies. So I think these are things you're going to want to know about. A zero tolerance policy. Oh, they do nothing unless you threaten to press charges. Our schools work pretty closely with the police. And I guess I know children that have, anyway, they do something about it here. But I think it's important for everybody to ask. And you know, you should be on your child's social media. You should know what they're up to. You should have their passwords. And I get that that's not easy. I have 2 boys that are 17 and 15, and they're off at boarding school. I mean, do you think that they want me going through their stuff? But this weekend, when I had gone to visit them, I was like, hand me your phone. You know, let me see it. If you speak up, things get worse. My daughter's in high school and has been bullied since 7th grade. You know, Julie, I had one of my children was not bullied like this to this degree, but there was a child that would take his lunch pretty regularly. And I had talked to the teacher, and I had talked to the this, and I had talked to the that, and I had done all these things. And I don't know if this is a good way to handle it or not, but it worked. I also volunteered at the school, which is helpful. Now, ain't nobody really volunteering in high school, because your children would like sooner hurt you than you come out to the high school. I mean, my daughter is like all in a snit because I'm going to be out at school on Thursday serving lunch to her teachers. But she doesn't like that. But you know what? I'm going anyway. I don't really care. I'm not going to embarrass her. I'm not going to like dance or wear something inappropriate. I'm not going to talk to the teachers that she's complained about. I'm going to keep my mouth shut, and I'm going to go out there, and I want these teachers to know I care about them. But anyway, years ago, I was volunteering, and I knew this one child had been taking one of my children's lunch. And I sat down at the table, this is in like maybe fourth grade, and said, I just want to talk about what it means to be a thief. And it wasn't like, I'm so hungry and I'm taking it. I'm taking it, I'm throwing it away. And what do you want to do in your life? And oh, people want to do this, and somebody's going to be a doctor, and somebody's going to be a professional basketball player, and somebody's going to do this. And I was like, well, at this point in your life, you're going to be in jail. That's the path you're on. Because if you start stealing, then you go to jail. So you can choose that route if you want to, but I'm not choosing that route. So just know that that's the path you're on. I don't know if that was the right thing to say, but it cut it out. And maybe it was just somebody's mother saying to a 10 or 11-year-old, cut that crap out. Don't do that. You know, I had it. I wasn't mean. I wasn't anything, but I had it. Anyway, I don't know. I have a 9-year-old with autism, and he can't tell me anything. And so it's like, how do I know if somebody were to tease him or bully him, or, I have to hope that our society and our community will look after him and take care of him. Because that's all I can do. I can't be there, and I can't have him living in a bubble with me. So, I think we raise them up and we hope that they're kind. Yeah, had it. Who was getting bullied? Well, no one in my family, Vicky, but we were talking about this young lady, Adriana, in New Jersey, who was attacked in the hallway at school, and then within 48 hours, she took her own life. And the superintendent, they didn't call the police. They allowed the children to post the video online. Nobody seemed too worried about taking it down. And so it was just kind of this question of cyberbullying. And as a parent, what do you do? And as a parent, talk to your kids. Do they see this kind of stuff online? Because let's say some other parent saw this and said, no, we're going to take that down. And I will tell you, you will not be popular. I called a parent years ago, and I wouldn't do this now because I've got smarter. Well, that's a lie. I wouldn't do this now because no one was being hurt. What is in this thing? There's hair. But I will say, I saw a very inappropriate TikTok video, and I called the parent about it, whose child was in the video. No one was being hurt, which is why I say now I just mind my own business. But at the time, I was so horrified and like, you don't want your daughter to do this. She's not going to be able to get into college. I mean, this is a problem. So I called the parent thinking that if I were a parent and somebody called me and said, boy, Adrian, I just saw TRB doing, using this terrible profanity and like dancing and, smoking pot online, I would want to know. No, the parent did not want to know. You know what they said to me? Why are you watching her TikTok? That was the response. Why are you watching her TikTok? Not thank you for telling us, not we'll take care of this, not I'm thankful. And I said to the dad, I don't know if you understand how the internet works, but when your child shares something publicly, I am legally allowed to share it publicly. So instead of calling you and giving you a courtesy call that you might want to get this under control, what I could do is share her TikTok on my very large Facebook page. And that would really be exciting. But I wouldn't do that because I don't want to do that to her. So anyway, I think we have a lot of people who think their kids are awesome and they think they're awesome. And they are not. Bad parenting is a problem. And I love to talk about some bad parenting. And it makes people go crazy. But you know what? It exists. And if my kids turn out crappy, I will tell you, I tried really hard to have them turn out well. And I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm not going to be Brian Laundrie's parents or Ethan Crumley's parents. They buy their son a gun. Or Brian Laundrie's parents, you show up in your girlfriend's van and you don't say, where is she? You help him escape? I mean, that's a parent problem. And I think some parents are blindsided, but there are a lot of parents that are not blindsided. Yeah, bad parenting. Bad parenting is going to be the topic on my next big subscriber video. Anyway. So, it's important. If you like these kind of conversations, this is the kind of stuff we talk about. And it's not always terribly popular, but it is important. It is really important. And I'm always amazed at the comments that I get from people. And I think there is going to be some room for, I've reached out to a clinical psychologist that specializes in cyberbullying. So I'm really hoping she will come on and talk to us about this. I think this is really an important topic. So thank y'all. Let me go tend to my 13-year-old.